Islam. I rise to give honor to Allah and next unto his holy and divine prophets. Repeat the Moorish prayer after me, feet at a 45-degree angle, 5 fingers on the left-hand side, 2 fingers on the right. The Moorish prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
The Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Drew Ali. Amen. Bloom, a divine constitution.
Islam, divine constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the chairman of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World, Science Temple of America, is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And it is known before the members of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science of the World. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwest. It's not allowing me to. Okay, there we go. The northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey fathers and mothers and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah.
Islam.
Islam. And now, letter to be proclaimed in every meeting. Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office 3603 Indiana Avenue, Noble Drew Ali founder, Chicago, Illinois, January 18, 1929. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Dear brother, Islam, I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as an American citizen, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so that they themselves take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that contribute to the movement in uplifting funds, the ones that pay their divine respect to me and the movement that will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it bad. Never before have I needed finance as badly as I do at present, that I may shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without me, the prophet, being the head. It has been proven by my work in which I have performed in the last few months, because I was at the governor's inauguration to represent the Moorish divine and national movement, and I will be at the inauguration of President Hoover for the same cause. Noble Drew Ali.
Islam.
Islam. All right, now, divine warning by the prophet. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors, ordered to read proclamation at each meeting, January 15, 1929. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member who, or group of members who, hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deed. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. By order of the prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam.
Islam. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to continue our walk down the 101 miles of what Drew Ali has left us. And I did a little bit more investigating, because I think we left it off at 54, but I just wanted to expand it a little bit Kabbalistically, what was going on. Kabbalistically meaning, to receive, So we're going to receive, that's what we're receiving, the light from Allah. And we're returning the light to Allah by walking a certain path to return to Allah. So number 55 in the 101, in the 101, it says, what is the name of the first physical man? His name cannot be used by those. His name can only be used by the executive rulers of the AC of the MST of A. Let me read that again. 55. What is the name of the first physical man? His name cannot be used only by executive rulers of the AC of the MST of A. So I looked at, I have a book on Kabbalah, the Kabbalah, and I looked up 55. 55 is the number for cesium, the atomic number for cesium, C-E-S-I-U-M, cesium. And I looked up what some of the properties of cesium are, and some of the properties of cesium, if you would bear with me just 1 minute because I have to pull it up on this. All right, some of the properties, the physical properties of cesium are, or is, it is a silvery white, shiny metal that is very soft and ductile. Ductile means capable of being drawn into thin wires. Its melting point is 28.5 centigrade or 83.3 Fahrenheit. It melts easily in the heat of one's hand, but should never be handled in that way. And so when I looked up, I think the hand, when I look at the hand in my mystery of a key to the mystery, I beg your pardon, a mystical key to the English alphabet, and I looked up the letter I, which is the letter of, means hand, H-A-N-D, in Semitic languages. And so when I looked up I, again, it says it's the third vowel. I owes its origin to the Semitic yad, or hand, that which grasp. The eye is the hand of the mind, seeking to grasp the nature of truth as related to self, the individual, and the world inhabited by the individual self, So as I've been sharing with you metaphysics. What metaphysics is the science of being. It deals with the ultimate reality, so the reality of who we are, the self, that we're the land, we're all of these elements that nature has devised for us. It says, I forgot to do the chapter 25. Ye of the children one father provided for prized care, and the breast of one mother hath given you suck. So the breast of one mother, the one mother is nature. And she has given us everything that we need, and the things that we want too, or the things that we think that we're lacking, because the word want means lack. And she has given us everything that we need. And ye are the children of one father. Father is the spark. And the breast of one mother has given you suck. He's given us everything. So I'm looking at cesium and the hand, the grasping of that malleable or that ductile that is able to be transmitted. I think that's what let me see. Let's see how it goes. Ductile means capable of being drawn into thin wires. its melting point again is 83.3 Fahrenheit. It melts easily in the heat of one's hand. And so 55. So it says 55. It says his name cannot be used by. I beg your pardon. His name cannot be used only by executive rulers of the AC of the MST of A. And I'm looking at chapter 5. I wanted to go to chapter 5 of the Circle 7 Quran and read 5 of the Circle 7, 5. And Mary asked the guards, "Have they seen Jesus?" A little boy, about 12 years old. I mean, 55. 5 and 5 is 10. I'm thinking of the 10th house, which would be Capricorn, or that house which is about business, or the midheaven. So I'm sharing with you some of the things that have been sort of revealed to me, or are being revealed to me as I walk through that door, the known and unknown. But it's been divinely prepared by the prophet so that I can share this information as I get ready to approach that door. All right, 56. What are the words of AC of the MST of A? Adept chamber of the Moorish Science Temple of America, third heaven, or as in the 102s, it says Moorish Holy Temple of Science, third heaven. 56, 5 and 6 is 11. So I was looking at the 11th letter. The 11th letter is the 11th letter. Let's see. Let's see. The I, J, K, the K, which is the seeing, going back to the C, the seeing, the K, based on the mystical key of the English alphabet, seeing that what the C is, and that's your ability to grasp that which is around you. Seeing that you're an adept, becoming more profound and deeper into the lessons of what the prophet has given us. 57, who were Adam and Eve? They are the mothers and fathers of the human family, Asiatics and Muslims. So 57, 5 and 7 is 12, and the 12th letter is L, which is where I began with in our lessons, talking about the letter L, which begins the word love, L-O-V-E, the 12th letter, L, and which means to learn and to teach true knowledge from the heart for divine redemption. So who were Adam and Eve? So we have divine redemption. They are the mothers and the fathers of the human family, Asiatics and Muslims. 58, where did they go? They went into Asia. Asia is the east. East is within. 5 and 8 is 13. 13 is the number for the letter M falls in the 13th place in the English alphabet. And the letter comes from the Semitic, again, meaning waters, meaning mother. There are 3 mother letters in the Semitic alphabet, Aleph, Mem, and Shin. Aleph is that sacrifice that was made originally so that the age of man, the growth of man, and the nourishment of man could be developed here at Midgard. And I just discovered something else yesterday because I was looking up the word world, which means age of man, growth of man, or nourishing man, or The age of mind says man is mind, the growth of mind, and the nourishment of mind. And Midgard is where we are in terms of raising ourselves up. It's part of the Malkuth. It's going from our lower self to our higher self, from Malkuth together. Let's see, 59. What is the modern name given to their children? Asiatics, those who go within. The East. The East is within. 59, 5 and 9 is 14. 14th letter is N, which means fish in the Semitic. Men is fish in the Semitic language. So we're looking at what is the modern name given to their children, Asiatic. So it's multiplied, fish. 60. Who is guarding the holy city of Mecca today to keep the unbelievers away? Angels or angles. 6 is sixth house is Virgo, which is what we're in right now. Virgo. This is the 6th house. We're in Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury. 61. What is the modern name for those angels? Asiatics. 6 and 1 is 7. There you got the 7 Elohim who created everything that was, is, and evermore to be. 62. What is the shade of their skin? Olive. Olive being natural. Olive means Shili means that which is natural. 6 and 2 is 8. 8 is infinity coming back around, going back, the infinite. 63. Are the Moorish Americans any relation to those angels or angles? Yes. We all have the same father and mother. Father and mother. It doesn't say fathers and mothers. It says father and mother. 6 and 3 is 9. 9 is completion. So we're coming back around. And the 9th letter is I. The 9th letter is I. Coming down to 64. Give 5 names that are given to the descendants of Adam and Eve. Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast. 6 and 4 is 10, but then 10 comes around to being the one which is the original sacrifice that was made for us to be here in the first place, in Midgard, in the world. 65. What is the devil sometimes called? The lower self. 6 and 5 is 11, and we're coming back around again. 11, that's the K, which is again CE. 66, how many cells are there? 2. 6 and 6. I analyzed the mercury of it all. 6 and 6, which is 12, which is the L again. And the L goes from low to high, from high to low, which is the 2, which is the love. 67, name them. Higher self and lower self. 67, that's 13. That's, you're outside of that because there's 12 houses and you're the 13th. Higher self and lower self, which is what we came here to figure out. 68. What people represent the higher self? The angels who protect the holy city of Mecca. 6 and 8 is 14. 14 again comes to the letter Min, which is the fish again. The fish go out to see the world, who are going to be navigating the world on this world in Midgard. 69. What people represent the lower self? Those who were cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teaching. 6 and 9 is 15. Element O. So the O. The beginning that has no beginning, that has no end. So those who were, so the angels are protecting the holy city. The angels are those who were cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teachings. 70. What is the higher self? The higher self is the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. 71. Can the higher self pass away? No. 72. Why? Because it is Allah in man. 7 and 2 is 9, so that starts all over again. Or Allah in mind. 73. What does the lower self breed? Hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, theft, and everything that harms. And at this point, I'm going to stop a journey because I might have thrown some curveballs in there, and you might need to ask me a few questions. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns, or objections? And at this point, I yield.
Islam. I did. I have a measurements and conversions dictionary, and I looked up cesium, and the atomic weight of cesium is 132.9054, which equals 24 or 6.
All right. All right.
And then as you were going through, I was looking at the different chemicals or elements with to correlate with each one of the numbers that you were reading, and it brought me to 63, which is europium.
All right. All right.
Which, you know, I'll have to do some more research on europium, but I found that to be interesting. 63 is europium. So whatever the question for 63 is,
are the Moorish Americans any relation to those angels? Yes, we all have the same father and mother. So father and mother, you are the children one father provided for by his care, the breast of one mother have given us suck. You know, because there's only one race. It's only one race.
Yeah.
And you know, we got the good, the bad, the ugly, and whatever else in there. It's only one race, and we're all related. You know, even though we did a created being, but that created being is just a representation of the lower self, which is what it says: hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, theft, and everything that harms. And that's the lower self. Every time we confront ourselves with, we're saying, "Oh, she hates me." No, it's not she hates me. It's just your lower self figuring out that there is something to be gathered or something to be observed or something to be understood. Because as I said before, and I shared before, it's on page 214 of the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, where we have 12 faculties of the mind. We have 12 faculties of the mind, and understanding being the seventh principle, seventh faculty of the mind, understanding, which creates balance of the other, both sides. It creates the balance, which is Libra, which we're getting ready to go into shortly. We'll be going into Libra shortly, which is the balance of what is to come. What is to come. And I yield. Did you want to continue on with that thought?
Islam. No, I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm learning.
All right.
And I don't believe there are any coincidences in the things that you're reading with nature and the elements, etc. So, I'm just looking to see where the connections are as I'm learning from what you're saying. Islam.
All right, Islam. Because, I should have started that from the beginning, but I was just giving you pieces and sharing. Let me reverse that. I was sharing pieces of the puzzle that I have been putting together because I understand there's a doorway coming very shortly. As we said, 8-8 was a doorway, a portal. There's another couple of doorways that we will be entering shortly, and we must prepare ourselves for those doors that we will be entering. And from my understanding, it's a higher consciousness, a higher vibration than what we're normally used to. And sometimes it can be frightening, sometimes, because to face yourself and not know that you're not this meat bag that you're in, it's it becomes somewhat problematic because you're unprepared. But then that's why the natal chart is so key in Islam, I, self, law, and master. That's why it's so key in understanding self, that there's two selves, a higher self and a lower self. That lower self is hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. The higher self breathes, is the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life that bring justice, mercy, love, and right. What is the higher self? The higher self is the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. So we got to be in harmony with that which is about to come. We must be in harmony with it. And I'm going to say must because, as I shared before, the definition of must is that it's a physical necessity as well as a moral necessity. And that has to do with nature's law and nature's God. The moral necessity has to do with nature's God. The physical necessity has to do with nature's law, because we still have to answer nature's law because we still are in the physical. We're still in the physical body. We're using these physical eyes to see through, and everything that we utilize with these physical eyes is going to be distorted. It's distorted. Because I was with some sisters yesterday, and we were talking about chapter 3, because that's where it's being discerned, where there's discernment about how many selves there are, and what it is that the higher self and the lower self is, and then that to understand that blessed are the pure in heart, for they will love and not demand love in return. So learning what love is, because that's what the prophet said. Mothers, dear mothers, teach your children to love instead of hate. And so we've been hating all this time, and through these eyes, we've been hating and allowing hate to penetrate to get to some self-defeat, or keeping us asleep, or running away, flight or fight sometimes. Sometimes we run away from ourselves, not realizing that we have to face ourselves. We have to face that lower self. We have to face it. There's no two ways about it. And until we understand that we have to face that, we cannot have growth. Because falsehood is not, yet it is the manifest of right. Falsehood is not, yet it is the evidence of right. So to call and respond, to cause and effect, the polarity of everything, the vibration of everything, mentalism, that's the first key. Everything is mind. And it's telling us that, all of this is an illusion, and it will pass away. But it's our journey to learn these last lessons and get on that path to higher consciousness, from Malkuth together, to going through all these chakras, to get to our higher selves, because it will be amazing. And I've been studying something called lucid dreaming, and seeing that, what we call sometimes daydreams, or you go to sleep and you have a dream in the night, And that's the ultimate reality. This thing that we keep waking up to every day, this meat sack, every day, we keep waking up to this same meat sack until we got our lessons learned. Or if you haven't got your lessons learned, there will be a repeating of this until the lessons have been learned. And every one must be learned, and that's based on chapter 1. You know, we can't go nowhere until we get all our lessons learned. And otherwise, you will be back in diapers and all that other nonsense, you know, teething and being quiet and whispered because you can't speak anymore, because you have to repeat that lesson over again. So are there any questions, comments, concerns, objections?
It's Empress. With regard to repeating the test, if there are any energies within us that we allow to fester that inhibit our ability to know our greatness and our godness, we're going to be tested until that energy is no longer there.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That is something that that is being made very clear. It's becoming clearer and clearer every day. If we have energies in us that tell us that Moors can't do this and Moors can't do that, we're going to be tested until that energy is not there anymore, because there's nothing we can't do. And this is all about us rising to our greatness. So whenever we think about doing things and we have any doubts within ourselves about whether or not we can do this or that, the demonstrations that we do, we're going to be tested until that energy is no longer there, and until we know that nothing can stop us and no one can stop us. Sovereign is exactly what the definition says it is, and more. I yield.
Islam. But, you know, we must be guided by principles. You know, that's what it is. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If we're not guided by those principles, we don't get nowhere. We don't get anywhere. We got to get to our higher consciousness, because it is about going from your lower chakra to your crown chakra, you know. And all these, like you're saying, are tests for us to get those lessons so that we get correct. We're perfecting ourselves to understand who we are, why we are, and what is our mission here. What did we come here for? Individually. Individually, we must know why we came here. Because if you don't know yourself, who you are, why you're here, then you're fumbling around in the dark. And we're to get to the marvelous light, that which is within, because we were once part of the great I am. We were once part of the great I am. We just decided to have contracts to come down here to get the perfumes, the odors, the true sensations, and the all of love. We weren't satisfied with the vast estate that we had. We just wanted to see what it was like. We came down in the physical form, in a carnal form. The spirit was encased in the soul was encased in the physical carnal being. And everything that we see through these carnal things, carnal apparati, I guess, the ears, the eyes, whatever, mouth, taste, is a distortion, because this is an illusion. If it has a beginning, it has an end, finite, and that comes from chapter 1 also. So again, I yield. Are there any questions, comments, and concerns?
Islam. Yeah, I'm going to go back to, this is Wilton Turkman. I'm going back to question 63. It's 63? The most American related. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
The one that's talking about we're the same mother and father.
Yeah, father and mother. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I don't have my glasses on. I will reflect. Okay. It says, do we have the same mother and father? So my question is, that we know where the sun comes from, but it says, but we don't know where woman comes from. That that she really she don't have a father. So, and it said we are the same mother and father. Woman is mother and father because she produces both. So kind of expound on that for me because seeing like when it circles, in my mind, when it circles all back, is you talk about higher self, lower self, and then you master the lower self and become one with one. Then to me, you're talking about woman. So I just want you to
all right.
down on that for me.
All right. So Allah is androgynous. It has both, contains both. Created something that would just be a reflection of self, because man obviously has nipples, but they're not functioning, So everything that she has, he has too. It's just reversed, It's just reversed, and the caduceus is the coming together as one to come to that consciousness that we are all one, part of the great I am. We're all a part of the great I am. Now we have choices. Again, free will. By being born, you have a will because the sun represents the will. And so you have free will. You can decide whether you want to come as a female or if you wanted to be a male, because these are lessons to be worked out on the plane of soul. These are all lessons to be worked out, because we have to work out all these lessons before we can return to the great I am. All these lessons have to be won, all of them. The physical lessons, that was the carnal lessons, figuring out that I don't need 15 pairs of shoes. I don't need a bed that costs 15,000 notes. I don't need or want a Mercedes Benz, or I don't need a license plate, or I don't need, a driver's license, or I don't need any of these things to make me who I am. But the point of the matter is you got to figure out, these are the things that we must figure out on this journey here, this earthly journey. On this earthly journey, we must figure out these things, by going back to the edimine, or the source, the root source. If you understand the root source where all things come from, because truth is the causeless cause and the rootless root. It comes from we don't know, but that's not to be. I shouldn't say guess. It's the perfection of man, so that we can get back to be one with Allah, the I am. We all have been giving our portion of understanding, which is the faculty of the mind. The gifts of the understanding, which is the faculty of the mind, are the treasures of Allah. And He appointed to each one his portion in what measure seemed good unto himself. So you know how to fix cars. I may know how to bake bread. But it's the collective consciousness that we're raising ourselves out of the physical into our higher selves, because the ultimate reality, I'm going back to the metaphysical again. The metaphysical is the science that deals with reality, and the science, the science of being, and it deals with the ultimate reality. The ultimate reality is that we're in a dream state. We're in a dream state. This is an illusion, and we'll pass. So, did I get to your question? Did I solve your question? Did I answer it? Do you still have some more?
No, that's good. I can marinate on that.
Go ahead. I yield.
No, you continue. But I just want to say I'd like to contribute to Camelback on what you're saying to answer the brother.
Yeah, because it's a union. The union, we become one again, a unit, one again. We would, in the great I am, we are one. As the book of the law says, for I am divided for love's sake, for the chance of union. So I yield, Bloom. I yield to Bloom.
It's So yes, indeed. And originally, organically, there's a wholeness. And so there is no division. There is no separation. So in the highest realms, there's just a wholeness. It's a completeness. So to descend, to come down, there had to be a separation because the wholeness and the completeness, the vastness was too great for it all to just be able to condense and contract to come down. So then that's where the split, the masculine, the feminine, the polarities. So, of course, in order for anything else to be born or to be love made manifest, which is what we are, it had to be a womb man that manifested first. That's why the womb man is the first man. That is why we are the first man, because nothing can come through unless it's coming through that portal, that divine cosmic mother womb. So when I see the word father, how my common sense and my energy, which is my inner God, my energy, the way that I feel that is at her. So because everything is her. When you look at the words her, heart, hear, ear, everything is about the feminine. Everything is about mother. Everything is about coming home to mother. Even that word he, if you put he in the middle, and then if you put S at the front of that, that's she. If you put R at the end of that, that's her. Everything is about her. It's about heart. We are living in the heart chakra. We are literally in the heart chakra. That's where we are, in the middle of the earth. We are in the center of the earth, balancing heaven and earth. So we're in her. We are within her, and we all have to return to her, which is heart, which is love. So yes, father is fat her. That is the masculine that has become so full, impregnated with her, with the feminine, that now he can be the father, which protects and provides all of the things that the mother has given him to provide us with. So yes, mother, father, it is the same. And then yes, we are here to experience the reunion of that oneness and that wholeness and that completeness, so that we can now ascend and return to our glory, our highest space in our godness. All right, Islam, I yield.
Islam.
I think both of you are emphasis for your reply, and it was greatly beneficial to me. I guess the only last thing I had to say, because I'm learning, so this really all boiled down to, I'm thinking in my mind, when God was all by himself and he decided to make an extension of himself. And as learning from this metaphysics, he like making things in cycles, like the full circle. So God himself circled himself in for his consciousness and his awareness to a certain radius, which we could call the 360 degrees. And then he began to multiply that, extending out to each one of us individually, collectively, until we all learn our lesson to come back to that oneness, because that first circle of consciousness was observation of consciousness, observation.
Yes.
And that was basically like the beginning of time, because before then it was just him, but when he get into that. I'm just trying to.
You're putting it together, but you're putting it together, and just know that every time you use that term circle, know that anything that is circular, that is a womb. Anything that is a womb, you are in a circle of life. That is a womb. So even in that, like pull that in too, because each time you use that term circle, know that that's a womb.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because anything that sprouts out of a circle, out of anything, it's being birthed, and you can't be born unless you have been seeded inside of an earth and been developed so that you can spring forth. So everywhere you look, it's mother, 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 mother. All of the problems that we're having in the land all over the world is our separation from mother. It's in our government, it's in our relationships, it's in everywhere you look, it's in the law, everywhere you look. Every problem in the land, on this earth, in our lives, personal or otherwise, is because we're separating from mother, because mother is trying to be wiped out, and mother cannot be wiped out, because to wipe out mother means no one lives. But no one wants to submit to mother. Everyone wants mother to submit unto something other than mother. Islam, I yield.
Islam, and if I may camelback on what she said about the problems and the issues.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Justice.
No, it just cleared my mind up, because there was time in the past tense when I addressed you empresses and everything, and then we say Allah, and I would say to myself, well, she's Allah, but if I say she's Allah, so it's all good. It's your Allah is woman.
Absolutely. Because it's all in every time in any language, when you see the A and the H, that's indicative, that denotes feminine. And then you have to recognize that all, when you look at that term all, the only one in your life that you can ever think about who includes everyone, it's always mother. Mother is always the one who, the earth, everything she does is for all. You know what I mean? So there is no separation, and the only one who can bring and have everyone together is the mother. That's why when we come out of our mothers, every woman, every female child that is birthed, she is birthed a mother, because there is a nation in the womb. So yes, Allah. What else? That's mother. So you don't even have to say it like, because I know a lot of people have this issue with, oh well, that's woman, and then they're using their two eyes that look, and they're thinking, when they see this woman in front of them, that they are beneath that woman. So you can just say mother, because that brings it on a more cosmic level, because mother is in so many forms. Mother is a vibration. It's an energy. It's an essence. It's the spirit of something. It's not all about a form, because there's a mother in you as well.
Islam.
Because mother created you. So that's what it is. It's all mother, and we all have to return unto whence we came, which is mother. And that is what's going to set all the order in its proper place in our lives, personal and otherwise, within our personal lives, within our nation, within our world, to return home to mother. Islam,
I got one more question since I've been here, and I'll be through. When it comes to the clock of destiny, zodiac, I've been studying it, and it's opposite attract. So if you 4, you're attracted with 10. Okay, on cafe zodiac is different. On the clock of destiny, my opposite would be Capricorn, but maybe I read something wrong or whatever, but the way it expressed to me in cafe that my opposite of perfect maybe would be like Scorpio. So that's not opposite. So
do you have your natal chart?
No.
I guess we would have to see the chart. Like what we would have to see the chart. Like whatever is opposite your ascendant, that's pointing to your partnership because that's the 7th house.
Yeah, like
so it's whatever is in your 7th house.
It'll be the 6th.
And I don't want to go. I'm sorry, Mother Delilah.
All right, because Brother Turk, let me just share with you. There's a couple things that you've got to put in your dial plate. All right, so not only is just your sun sign, you have to have your rising sign and your moon sign to get a better grasp of the I am that you are. All right, you have to get, and then there's a planet alignment when you came through. There's a planet alignment that was there, and these things are also key in understanding who you are and why you are and what your purpose is. All these things, it's not just one little key, one little thing that gives you the answer to all these questions. It's a life study. It is a life study. That's why I say study yourself. Study. And when you have to ask me what to study next, study yourselves, because it's a life process. I, self-love, must master. How do you master yourself? It don't come overnight. It doesn't come overnight in mastering yourself. You have to study. You have to study yourselves. That's what he says, study yourselves in order to get a better understanding of what your purpose is here and what you're to complete as your task and how you can complete your task on this journey. So, it's simple, but it's not simple. It takes a little bit more of looking into and investigating other key elements that were operating when you came through that Stargate, all right?
Okay.
So you got to do a little bit more studying, and we can give keys and stuff like that, but you got to know the time that you were born, the time that you came through, in order to give a clear and scientific assessment or analysis of who you are. To know the time of the day, not just the day, but the time of day. And these are all elements that have to be measured in order before you can start cutting. As a carpenter, you measure twice and then cut once. So you must take all these things into consideration when you're trying to make an assessment, because there's also what they call soulmates. You have soulmates, and so these things are to be measured. And like I say, with the Google University, I call it Google University, you can measure a whole lot of things, but the key element is knowing what time of day that you were born. Because every 2 hours, the moon shifts. And so your moon sign might have been Cancer, but then 2 hours later, then it's Leo. Your moon is in Leo. And then 2 hours later, then it's in Virgo. You feel me? You feel me?
Yeah.
So as a carpenter, you measure twice and cut once. All right. So I yield. Did I answer your question?
Praise Allah. I yield.
Islam. Are there any more questions? From anyone else? Any assessments? Any critique? Islam.
I don't have a question because the questions have been so complete. But I do have a comment with regard to where we are, moon, sun, and ascending. I am of the knowing that the reason that we are to look at those things, when you talk about things that are opposite and things that are compatible and all of that, especially with regard to our birth chart, I am of the knowing that we are to look at those very carefully so that we see where we are, so that we can ascend those characteristics. so that we can, because when you find out where you are, you already know where you have to go. It gives you a better picture of where you have to go in order to become a better, more, to be a God, to ascend to our Godness. And so looking at the birth charts, it says, okay, that's your starting point. The birth chart is only the starting point for where we're going. So when we look at it very carefully, and we see things, but we don't park there. We keep going, and we say, okay, we know we have, like, for example, I know I'm a Leo, but I cannot live in the characteristics of Leo. I have to start looking around at other things that are in there and pulling from the other signs, Virgo, Capricorn, Libra,
and
etc.
These are your neighbors. And pardon the interjection, but that's the neighbors that they talk about in the Biblioheliotext. Those are your neighbors. Love thy neighbors. That's what that means.
Ooh. Ooh.
That's what that means. Love thy neighbors. Everything is about you. I self-law and master. It's about your neighbors and your natal chart. And that's also where that statement comes from, where they say, if you don't know where you've been, you won't know where you're going. It's your natal chart.
Teach.
Islam.
Teach.
Can I ask a
Mother, question? And that is also the uniting of Asia. When we start bringing in the other signs into who we are and what we're doing, our neighbors, etc. Empress Bloom, I'm learning today. Empress Delilah, I'm learning today. I'm learning.
We learning together. We are learning together. I love it. I love you more. I love you.
Yes, love you more.
Islam.
There's a question on the floor. I heard someone say, I have a question. I heard someone say that.
Yes.
There was an inference.
Way back. I am love. I have love. I think love. I feel love. I will love. I analyze love. I balance love. I desire love. I think love. I utilize love. I know love. I believe. I believe. I believe. And then you got to come around again. So the next lesson is I am truth. I have truth. I think truth. And then we come back around, love, truth, peace. I am peace. You got all these are lessons that we got to learn going around that wheel. Going around that wheel. All 5 lessons of light. All 5 lessons of light until you get, till you get to freedom. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Till you get to justice again. So we must go and navigate all the way around till we become all those things that we said we came down here to be. Those are principles of life. The things that guide us. We're about love. We're about love. All right. So, all right. 76. Has he finished his task of devouring? And it says yes. 77. When was his time declared out? When he nailed Jesus on the cross, or when he nailed justice on the cross. When he nailed justice on the cross. So 77, 7 and 7 is 14. There again, we come back to the fish again, the men. 76 was 13. So 13 was the mem, or the waters from which he came out of. As he finished devouring. So we're coming out of the waters. So we're coming out of the waters. Yes, we're coming out of the waters. Yes. 78. What are the last words Jesus uttered? It is finished. So 7 and 8 is 15. 5 and 1 is 6. So I'm analyzing this. I'm analyzing the love. I'm analyzing, all that which I am. So it's finished. It's finished. Once you've done the completion, once you've gone around to those 5 points of light, then it's finished. It is finished. All right. 79. What did he have reference to? He had reference to the end of Satan. That's 16. So it's 1 and 6 is 7. So end of Satan. That's the 7th day. Satan is the 7th day. That's Saturn. Satan is Saturn. So that's the 7th day. All right, Saturday. Cass-I-L. 80. Did Jesus say that he would return to conquer him? And I'm going to read it again. Did Justice say that he would return and conquer him? Yes. So Justice is coming back to conquer all this madness that we've been going through. 8, so the 8, that's the infinity, coming back around, always coming back around. So we're going to finish this job out here. 81. What is the name of the person into whom Jesus was first reincarnated? Prophet Muhammad, the Conqueror. There's a study piece that I'm working on, the Conqueror, Muhammad the Conqueror. But there again, Mo, if you're looking at Mo and Hammurabi, there's a lesson to be gotten in there from the circles of mothers and sons. There's a lesson to be learned there. I'll share it with you after I do a little bit more thorough study. But here again, 8 plus 1 is 9, which is the completion, which is how many months, that we're in mother. And that's what our hair is. So Muhammad. 82. Was Satan to be bound then? Satan was to be bound in part. So that's 10. That's the 1. The sacrifice is to be bound in part. 83. When was the head of Satan taken off? 1453 Byzantine. There's another study too. There's another study and opening. This door is coming through. The door is opening. 84. By whom? By Muhammad. 85. Name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations in 1774. Negro, black, colored, and Ethiopia. So there was no revelation with regard to our supposed Americans. We're Americans. We're Americans. There was no clarity there, Europeans, it says European nations. Something saying I'm an Irish American. Nope, don't work. I am a German American. Nope, don't work. I am a French American. Nope, don't work. I am a Norwegian American. Nope, don't work. I'm a Scottish American. Nope, don't work. Can't come from 2 different places. Your mother can't come from 2 places, She can only be from one, and the nation is in her womb. 86. What is meant by the word Negro? Negro, a name given to a river in West Africa by the Moors because it contains black water in West Africa. So where is Africa? Where is Africa? What's the ancient name for Africa? Ancient name for Africa is a Mexim. The modern name for Africa, a Mexim.
Is Africa,
yes,
right?
Yes. The modern name for a Mexim is Africa. The ancient name for Africa is a Mexim. So West of Mexim.
West of Mexim.
So let's see. What is it about? Well, all right. 87. Yeah, it's on.
I thought about what you were saying just now about German American or American or Indian American and all of that. That's actually not what we mean when we say they're hybrid. They want to take those and say that's why they call us hybrid, but that's not why. It's because of their scientific makeup and their mix,
yes,
where animals are concerned.
Because they want to call, because they said, it says here from the names given to, let's see, some of the name some of the marks that were placed upon the Moors by the European nations in 1774. So, you know, what European nations were around in 1774? They call themselves, it wasn't really nations, they were really tribes. But anyway, they call themselves German, you know, Alamein, you know, the King Frisian, you know, he was running there. There's Moors all over there, you know, all over the place in Germany. You know, you can go see the, what is it called? Not talisman, but, heraldry. You know, everywhere you go, you'll see the dark king with the crown. You know, he's got the crown and his red lips, and you can definitely see that he is Moor. He is Moor. You know, and French. You know, we're talking about, you know, French tribes and stuff like that. They weren't actually nations, you know, at that point, but still, the point of the matter is these hybrids over here say we came from Europe, so we're French American. No, no, you are what your mother and father. You are what your mother is, without doubt or contradiction. So if your mother is her culture and her language and her essence is from there, then you can't be American. I don't care how many times you were born. Just the favorite saying is, just because I was born in a garage don't make me a Cadillac. You know, it's the point of the matter. It's not where you're born. It's whether you can be attached to a nation, a mother. If I say I'm from China, you know I'm Chinese. If I say I am Japanese, you know that I will be Japanese. And I will have the culture and the language and all that is associated with that. If you know what China looks, Chinese, you know what that is. And I don't care if you were born in China. It does not make you a citizen of China. It does not make you Chinese. It does not make you Chinese. They'd have to adopt you, and still you would be naturalized. Because your mother is not, by nature, by inheritance, Chinese. So I got off task. Are there any questions or comments or concerns right here?
No, but it's interesting that you were saying just your description of what you just broke down, because yeah, they want to be American so bad, and like you say, the nationality, everything is determined by the mother, as we know. They want to return home to mother so bad, like they don't
for a year today. Are you celebrating her anniversary?
So to return home to mother, yeah, to say they're American, you know, because we know that all of this began here, you know,
right.
in Morocco. So
right.
for them to, and with the Yakub experiment and all of those things, so they are the motherless children wandering, trying to find, you know, they're the abandoned ones. They're the ones who, you know, are trying to return home. So for them to be claiming to be American, you know, I can't blame them. But we have to be knowing within ourselves who the true Americans are, who the original Americans are. And we know that is us as Moors. So I yield.
And then the definition of 1828, the definition and the dictionary, it says what the natives, the copper-colored natives who were here when the Europeans came here. Exactly. We were already here. We were already here.
And who do they always want to be? Who do they always want to emulate? Who do they want to be like? Us.
Yes.
So
us.
You know, that's why we have compassion for them. And we understand that, you know, they want to be as great as mother. So Islam, I yield.
Islam. I yield.
Islam?
Islam.
This is Cynthia Ann Bay, and I was wondering if what we're calling them Europeans, and are they truly Europeans? And it's my understanding that they really have no home here, that they came from here on Earth. And if we are the creator of these beings, do we have some type of responsibility to take care of them or to erudite them? Because they are lost, and as long as they're here, we're going to get what we're getting today from these people who are constantly disruptive. I hear tremendous fear in their voice, and it comes out as meanness and anger because they don't have anything else. They don't know where to go, what to do, how to be with this. So, anyone, what is our responsibility to these creatures?
May I, Empress?
Yes.
May I?
Yes, please. We all want to touch on that.
The very, yes, Islam. From the very beginning, from their beginning, we have always taken care of them. That's why they're still here now. They've been eating off of our estate the entire time with our consent. So we cannot, anyone who says that we have hatred for them is not being truthful.
It's true.
Any of our creation, we have fed and taken care of. That's why they're still here. Now, with regard to the Albions, they are, there's no place that they can go in outer space that's not ours. Let me say that again. Our estate is everything and everywhere and everyone. So there's no place that we can even send them that we're not the heirs to. And they know that. That's why they're afraid. And that's why they're coming into these meetings repeatedly to not really, I think it's just, well, of course it's just incompetence that causes them to come here in that manner. But because they think that we have, they're wondering what's going to happen to them. But what's going to happen to them with regard to all that we're doing is all we have to do is stay focused on nation building, and they will go the way that nature has for them to go, which is the way they came here is the way they'll leave. Now, you asked about our obligation. We have absolutely fulfilled our obligation, and we continue to do that today. Okay? We in fact, we loved them so much that we allowed them to pretend to be us. We allowed that.
Right.
Because there's nothing outside of our control. Nothing. From time immemorial into perpetuity, we control everything. That's why even in our sleep, they needed our autograph to do anything. So there's no hatred. We could have destroyed them before ever creating them. But we chose to do what we're doing with regard to them. So when they come here and we respond the way that we do, it's not out of hatred. It's not out of, I don't believe they're even coming here because they hate. They just don't know any better. We had to teach them everything, and we're continuing now, even now, to teach them how to treat their creator. That's what we're doing here, is we're coming into our godness, and then we're putting our creation back in their rightful place. That is an act of love, so that we don't have to destroy them. That is an act of love, so that we don't have to do anything with regard to them that is destructive. We don't have to do any of that. We don't even have to focus our energy on them. Because as nature takes its course, which we are natural, everything that's not natural will take its course.
Okay.
Islam. So with that, again, we're not being mean and ugly to them at all. All we're saying is tell the truth about who you really are. You don't have to lie anymore because we're here.
It doesn't come off as mean or nasty. I understand. I'm a Moor too, so I know where our people are coming from. But for some reason they don't seem to get it. It's like there's no growth, from that side. And Islam.
They have gone and they've gone as high as their genome will let them. They've gone as high as their genometrics.
They've reached their cap.
Islam.
They've reached their cap. They've reached their cap.
Because if you look at the definition of hybrid, it says the produce of a mixture of two species. They're from a different species. All right. So we mixed. We mixed blood and created this thing. But yes, you're right. We had a responsibility, but our karmic debt is over. Once the Aquarian age came into being, our karmic debt was over. Because we had the King George. He sent him over here and said, "I'm tired of him. I'm tired of him." They're acting like monkeys. And if you look at the Hadrian Wall, and even the Great Wall of China was built to keep them from coming over. To sort of like pin them in, because we realized that experiment in the Yucatan, we realized that their skin could not take the sun, because when Yaqub created them, they created them with three faults. So they came with tuberculosis, they came with melanoma, sometimes known as leprosy, and syphilis, melanoma, and tuberculosis. It's in them. The hybrid, it's just that way. And if you look at the island of Dr. Moreau, when we mix the blood and the genes and all this other kind of stuff, this is what you get. And they are returning back to their nature again, to that species that they came from. If they had a moral compass, I might have more sympathy, but we can show them, teaching them to have a moral compass, but they have no moral compass from which to work. Their mothers don't teach them to have a moral compass. How to love your brother as yourself. All that's why we're going over what it breeds. It breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms. It's in their nature. It's in that nature. And the nature is that it will pass away, because if it has a beginning, then it has an end. It's finite. Time never was when man was not, and so the mind was not. The point of the matter is a finite mind cannot comprehend infinite. So they can't comprehend us. So all they can go is as far as they can go, which is kids. That's all they can be, is just kids. That childlike mind that said, we're going to call you names, and we're going to throw sticks and stones at you, and we're going to do this and that to you. A childlike mind, that's the only response that you have? There's something called love. Do you have a response called love? All you can do is, throw hatred. That's all you're doing is, you're stupid. You don't have the flag up there. Na. That's childlike. And they can't go any further than that. That's all they are. I got to get a drink of water, so I yield. I got to get a drink of water, so I yield.
Islam. So, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That whole calling names thing, well, let's think about what names are. Names are for slaves and property and servants, etc. And whenever they call us names, all they're doing is, again, attempting to usurp. That's all. And that's why our response is always state your name and nationality, because by saying state your name and nationality, we put ourselves right back in the position that we are in by nature. State your name, because you're the one with the name. That's why you keep trying to call names. because all they're doing, again, they are mimics. They mimic their God, their creator.
Yeah. It says, and then it says in the 101, name some of the marks that are placed upon the Moors in 1774. Named by the European nations in 1774. Number 65. Name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors in Northwest by the European nations in 1774. Negroes, they called us Negroes, blacks, coloreds, Ethiopians, Negroes, and then they went all the way to nigger, But the point of the matter is, the name that they are called is known by Yabero, Arabo, Negro, Troglodyte, Chimpanzee. They are the Negroes. They are the niggers. They are the niggers.
They are the blacks. They are the colored. And they are the ones who are divided. They are all of those things, and they project those things onto us. So our responsibility, back to what the sister asked, is yes, to know the nature of us, because everything is higher self and lower self, and we know that we know where they began. We know that was not an act of love. So they can't know love because they were not created in the image of love. And so we have to take responsibility for that. And we have to have compassion for that and forgiveness for that, forgiving ourselves because, yes, our ancestors, that came through from our bloodline. That was created. That was the division from love, the separation from love. And now we have to deal with that. And now we have to unify that and pull that into the love vibration, because the love vibration is that's the victory vibration. That is the vibration of victory. Love is the vibration of victory. And the only way for us to have victory in all of this is through that powerful love vibration. So the responsibility is to have the compassion, to have the love. But before all of that, knowing who is who, what is what, knowing the nature, knowing who we are, knowing that we are the true ones, knowing that they are the shadow who mimics the ones who are living. So when you have a perspective of who is who and what is what, they have no power other than what we give them. So to know that, it's just like if you're a mom and you have 5, 6, 7 children and you need to set your house in order, your children run around all out of order and discord, and you let that go on and on and on, and then you have basically just lost complete control of your home, of your house, because you forgot who you were. And you allowed someone else to rule who is not in a position, who doesn't have the wisdom, the knowledge, and the degrees to run things. So we it's like, and that's what's going on in government. We abandon. We abandon. So all of us it's so interesting when I hear people talk about, when they talk about relationships, she's got abandonment issues, or all of us have abandonment issues because we've abandoned our estates. Everybody, we all got abandonment issues because we abandoned our godhood. All of us got abandonment issues because we separated from mother.
Islam.
So we have to return home to mother individually first, then within our families, then within our communities, then within our nation, and then it ripples out. Everything begins at home. And home is where the heart is, and heart is mother, and mother is love. And that is why the prophet says we must learn to love instead of hate. Islam, I yield.
Islam. To camelback off of what the Empress just said here, that's some teaching right there. When Empress Bloom said that love begins at home and then it ripples out and out and out, everything that we have done up thus far in terms of growing our nation and our government started in the home. Everything, even our courts, started in the home, and it's going outward and outward and outward and more, and then that is actually the mothership strategy. The mothership strategy, when they say the mothership has landed, that means that it's like everything just breaking out all at once in all of these different places. And it has no beginning and no end wherever it breaks out, you see. That's the mothership strategy. So when they say the mothership has landed even in our court, it's the same thing is happening right now with our schools, with our Moorish schools. The schools have started, and I'm not taking away from those who've been doing the work the whole time. Please don't take it that way. In fact, we are standing on their shoulders. We honor them. The mothership strategy with the schools is where each of the matriarchs and patriarchs who have their heirs in their domicile, rather, is teaching them in the domicile, starting there, regardless of what's going on out around them. They've insulated the heirs from what's going on outside of them and brought everything within. And when they bring everything within, and that happens all over the land like it's doing right now, no one can tell us that we can't bring erudition to our heirs. No one can say, no, you have to bring them down to this building down the street where we give them vaccinations and keep them overnight, whether you like it or not. And that is that whole, it all starts. We just need one or two to start it off. That's all we ever needed, really. It's one or two sovereigns to start it off. And then it goes out and ripples out and out and out, just like Empress Bloom said. Islam, I yield.
Islam. All right, so we're still traveling a little bit, all right, because there's one here. Let's see, it's 45 after the hour here, so you know, like I say, I don't want to go longer than 2, because like I like other people to get this information, and 2 hours is a big chunk of time if you're not actually engaged. All right, so 87. What is meant by the word black? Black, according to science, means death. All right, Black Law Dictionary. You know what is black? Civil little more twos. All right, that's 87. That's 15. That's 5 and 1. 5 and 1. That's the sacrifice and the will and the sacrifice. Let's see, 88. What does the word colored mean? Colored means anything that has been painted, varnished, stained, or dyed. That's the 2 8s, 8 and 8, going around. 89. What does the word Ethiopia mean? Ethiopia means something divided. So we don't say Ethiopian, we say Ethiopia, which means something divided. So we've been divided, like we said, we've been divided from our love. But as Mama Newt says, you know, for I am divided for love's sake, for the chance of union, to get back together, to be one with Allah, to be one, you know, with the great I am. 90. Let's see. Can a man be a Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian? No. But let me read it again. Can a mind be a Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian? No. Let's see. All right. So we're going to 91. 91. It says, why? Because man is made in the image, or mind is made in the image and after the likeness of God Allah. 92. What does the word white mean? What title does Satan give himself? God, you know, generator, operator, and destroyer, you know. 93. will you define the word white? White means purity, purity means God, and God means ruler of the land. And that's what we are, because we were free white people before the changing places, the switching places. Before we got fooled into telling us that we are the Negroes, we're the colored, we're the blacks, we're the Ethiopians, we're the African Americans, we're all this stuff. Before that, we were known as free white persons. And the definition is in Black's Law Dictionary, why we are free white persons. And the point of the matter is, this stuff came about in 1871 after the coup happened in 1861. They said, we don't want the republic anymore. We don't want to honor mother no more. We want our own stuff. We want democracy. We want democracy. We want the mob rule. Democracy, mob rule. We want a mob rule. In the republic, everyone has equal portion. And so they said, no, we don't want the republic. We're going to overthrow the republic. And then 1871, here they come with their Naturalization Act. And how you going to naturalize somebody when you ain't been naturalized? You already said, I'm not part of this nation anymore. I'm not American. I'm a Democrat. I'm from the Ku Klux Klan. I'm from everywhere else, but I'll claim it so that I can get the benefit of the estate. The Freedmen's Bureau, 40 acres and a mule. We were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule back, the stuff back. Hey, never happened. Johnny Cash got something, and you can look that up. Johnny Cash, the singer, he was part of that. He got 40 acres. His family got 40 acres and a mule. And to go back to the heirs of this vast estate. But no, they changed places. Changing places. That movie with Eddie Murphy, he changed places. We became the slaves, and they became the masters. We changed places, and that's part of the karmic debt too, because we had maltreated them. And so that was part of the karmic debt. But 1881 brings out the age of Aquarius.
Yeah, and we abandoned that, and they took it on. So that's why they think that they are really the true Americans, because we abandoned our state.
Right. And so 1881 was the age of Aquarius, the opening of the age of Aquarius. And who comes around in 1886? Noble Ali. 5 years later, who is ushering and goes to the mystery schools. He goes through the Hecoptian mystery schools to get the understanding so that he could bring this information back to us who needed it the most, because we forgot who we were. We lost our place. We lost our vast estate because we went to sleep. We allowed all these beings to take our place. This hybrid that we created, we switched places. We went to sleep and allowed them to take our place. But
we showed us, we got rocked to sleep, didn't we? They sang us all the lullabies.
Yes.
We got rocked to sleep.
like the alligator, you rub his belly and he'll go to sleep. You turn him on his belly and he'll go to sleep. You rub, because we are the alligators, because we were tearing them apart. But hey, it's all good now, because we're back. Mama has returned. She got them brogans on. I like the symbol of that. She got the brogans on. She's coming back.
That's right, Sophia.
She's coming with a great big old broom to sweep everything clean.
It's long.
Sweeping stuff clean. No, we ain't allowing this madness. You done dirtied up, you filthied up the place, you left it in a mess, and now it's time for cleanup. We allowed you to have that mess, that party on us. You've been partying on our dime for quite a few years. You've been partying.
Yes. With our consent.
Yes. Well, we gave them the consent. So go ahead and party. Send Buffy to the Sorbonne. Mama can go around the world on a cruise, and Jimmy can get a Maserati, and he can smoke cigars and burn 100 notes to light the cigar. We want to have them to have this on our dime. Not this time up, time over, and as the prophet predicted, in the year 2000, the Moors will be starting to come to waking up. And so we are. But as he also said, treat them nice as they leave. Treat them nice. And everybody know what word nice means, but I think he was meaning it connotatively as opposed to denotatively, you know? Because like he said, you know, he's going to leave him here long enough to teach us government. And that's what's happening right now. If you realize it, that's what's happening. We're learning government because we're sitting at home thinking and studying. We should be sitting at home studying, thinking. A soldier never knows his strength until he meets a foe, and thought is developed by the exercise of strength. Study, study, study. And when you ask me what next to study, study yourselves. That's what we're supposed to be doing right now, so that we can be that government. So we can be the ruler of the land. We're the landlords. We're the lords of the land. That's why he said, you know, white means purity, purity means God, and God means ruler of the land. We're the landlords. Well, we forgot our place. All right. Now let me round this out because I'm trying to get it out. All right. 94. To whom do we refer to as at times as being the great God, Allah? 95. Is the devil made in the image and after the likeness of Allah? No. He is the shadow of our lower selves and will pass away. 96. Who made the devil? Elohim, which is us. 97. Who is Elohim? Elohim is the 7 creative spirits that created everything that ever was, is, and evermore to be. We were there at that meeting of the great I Am. I yield. Question?
95. So in reality, they're not even really our lower selves. Not really. They are the shadow of our lower selves. Is that right? Am I?
Yes. Exactly. Because our eyes, the flesh.
Really?
The flesh. You know, our eyes see things distorted. Our eyes are distorted through the working ether of the flesh. Everything we're saying is distorted. It ain't real. It's just a slower vibration. It's a slowed down vibration. So it manifests. Wow. It's just like, you know, you're traveling on the highway and you look down, you know, you're going 90 miles an hour and you look down and the white lines go zoom, 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 zoom. They're speeding by. But if you look out in the distance, those things, you know, further out in the distance through the murky eyes, the further out you look, then it looks like they're moving slow. You know, it's not slow, it's moving, it's thicker, and you can see that. You can see that illusion. But if you're looking down, the illusion is just the speeding line, the 90 miles an hour, you're looking. It's going zoo, 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 zoo.
And it will look like actually a solid line. If you're going fast enough, it'll look like a solid line when really it's not. When you're looking down at that white line on the road, those dotted lines or whatever, it will look like a solid line. Ooh, so let me just clarify because I'm trying to get the overstanding. They are not our lower selves. They are a shadow of our lower selves. And I just want to make sure that I comprehend and understand. Is that correct?
Yes. They're a shadow of our lower selves and will pass away. And that other movie, the other movie is The Dark Crystal. You know, as we begin to grow, you know, we don't need certain things anymore because your body is not necessary. You know, the physical form is not necessary, you know, because we're greater than that. And as we grow, then the Skeksis and the great old ones, you know, they melt until they get to the 3 suns. 3 suns, wisdom, will, and love. Until you come to that wisdom, will, and love, that union of the wisdom, will, and love. That's the mother and son coming together again. The wisdom, will, and love. That's the mother and son coming together again. Wisdom. What's another name for wisdom? Sophia. Will is the son. So I yield. Any more questions? Did I answer or did not? Whoa.
Islam. You're good.
Islam? All right.
Islam.
All right. All right. So
I'm blown away, Empress. Just blown away.
You're blown away.
I am. I'm blown away today. I'm blown away. I mean, I yield.
Islam. All right. So, 97. Who is the Elohim? Elohim is the 7 creative spirits that created everything that ever was, is, and evermore to be. 7 creative spirits. Spirit is.
Hey there, Delilah. You want to go for a ride?
Keep going. Just keep going, Mother.
All right. Who is Elohim? Elohim is the 7 creative spirits that created everything that is, was, and evermore to be. 98. What is Elohim? Elohim is sometimes called the 7 eyes of Allah. 99. How many days are in the circle? 7 days. 100. How many days are in a creation? 7 days. 101. According to science, how many days are in a year? 7 days. So, are there any more questions, comments, concerns?
No, but what I'm going to encourage, what I would love to happen with us on next week's call, since we have done the 101, we walked 101 miles, is if everyone, as many as is willing at least, to really marinate in these 101s and reflect on these 101s in the way that Mother Delilah has been sharing and opening it up, unpacking it, and really if we can have a discussion, a build about the one-on-ones next week, that would be great, because then this would give us an opportunity to go away for these next 7 days, which is the circle. That's the creation circle, and come back with some questions and look into some things, because this is so, the 101s, man, it's so deep, it's so beautiful, it's like, yeah, it's time for takeoff when you go in here, man. It's so much history, it's so much spiritual wisdom. I would love for everyone to really, so much science. I mean, just so much cosmology, so many keys, and I would really, really love if we could return next week with some serious, like somebody, like us having some questions, like, oh, number 95, and and like us go and look and really bring back something. Let's really gather on this, and so it's on my you.
I was going to say, speaking of that, Empress Bloom, I was going to ask, what is question 79 again? I don't have the question there in front of me, but if you could read question 79, because I want to make a correlation there. I just want to see what it is first.
79 is, what did he have reference to? He had reference to the end of Satan.
The end of Satan. Okay. The correlation that is made there for me is that the atomic number for gold is 79. And at the end of Satan, or the end of the testing, we come out as pure gold.
Islam. And, the alchemy of it all.
Yes. Islam.
And it's so funny because go ahead. And it's so funny because Saturn is called Satan, and Saturn is Saturn Day, and then Sunday is the day of gold, which is the sun. So Islam.
Wow. So gold comes out at the end of,
Of 79.
Of all of our tests. Yes. Of all of our tests. Yes. All of us, and us overcoming the Satan, overcoming our lower self, overcoming the shadow of the lower self. And then we have come into, and that's where we were talking about last week, where it's 12 and then you become the 13. So that's the 13. That's that light. You are your own light. Yes. Light Tajiri. Islam.
Islam. And then I was also thinking too, Empress Bloom, about 79 equals 16. 6 and 1 is 7. And initially we were the 666 in terms of the 6 protons, 6 neutrons, and 6 electrons. Yes. And then as we evolve, we become the 667.
Islam. Because that's how we do when we count. It goes up. It stacks, right? Islam. Islam.
Yes. We are ascending indeed. Yes.
Exactly. Wow. In real time on all levels.
Yes, there are no coincidences. None whatsoever. Everything is connected. Everything.
Exactly. And you see what I'm saying about these 101s, just the numerology and the 101. It's like this is so science, man. This is, give it up to Prophet Noble Drew Ali.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Islam. That's powerful. I agree. Powerful.
And like I say, this is our creed. We can confess it all. To being it all, we can confess it. These are our articles of faith. We can confess it. We can confess that. Carbon, gold, platinum. The silver. Well, all of those things and more, because we can't. The breast of one mother has given you suck. So some mother gave us everything that we need, everything that we could possibly need, everything.
We have it.
Yeah, we just got to utilize it. The application of the knowledge, because like it also says in there, about the chapter on rich and poor. It says it's not. The advantage lieth not in the possession of good things, but in knowing to use them.
Yes, that's that Virgo. I utilize. We have to utilize.
You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you never utilize it, what's the point? There's no point. You can have all the information in the world, but if you don't utilize it, you're just part of those 7 deadly sins. Gluttony. That's glutton. That's gluttonous behavior. Covetousness. You're trying to gain the world with things. No. This is a resting point. This is Midgard. This is a resting point to get to our higher self, from Malkuth together. Together. Yes. So what's 7 after the hour right now. So like I say, I don't try to belabor the point. But are there any questions, comments, concerns? Before we close out. Any objections? Any assessments? I'd like some assessments of what we've been doing here. What have we been doing here? I'm not just coming here to, just spiel out information. The application, that's what I'm here to, to see. I'm here to see. I don't want followers. I say I don't want followers. I do not want followers. They're scholars, because you are an angel. You're an angel by being an Asiatic, and your job is to take the information to the 4 corners of the world, to all nations. That's your job as a missionary, whether you know it or not. By claiming to be a Moorish American, you submitted yourself to becoming a missionary to take this message to the 4 corners of the world, to all nations. You're a part of the age of mind. You're a part of the growth of mind. You're a part of the nourishment of mind. That's what you came here to help nourish mind, to help with the growth of mind, to help with the age of mind.
Yeah, Islam.
And you must take that path to go to the higher self. Tether.
And there it is, right. that her. Yeah, when you spell tether, T-E-T-H-E-R, it's to her. It's to her. Everything is about her. Everything is about mother. Return home to mother. Come on home, babies. Mama's like, come on home.
Yes, come home. Come home.
Tether to her. Yes.
Yes.
Islam. All right. So, is anything else? Anything more? We've had quite a few interruptions today, but I guess but see, like it says, law governs all events. Law governs all events.
Research.
So,
they're trying to get your money.
Law governs all events. And so I guess that little European daughter, she just wanted to get her little last little kick in there. But see, like, no matter what, I don't wish hardship. I don't wish bad things for you. I don't wish bad things for you.
I don't research.
Mother, just keep talking to us. Just, it's nothing to respond to. There's nothing there.
Well,
there's nothing there.
I'll boot her out. I'll boot her out.
But there's nothing there.
It's a shadow. It's a shadow. The shadow.
Exactly. There's nothing there. Our eyes are turned towards the light. We don't see what's behind us. It's all Islam. Islam.
I stand corrected. Yes. I stand corrected.
Mother Delilah, thank you so much for all that you're bringing to us. We appreciate it.
Islam.
Learning so much. Much needed information.
Islam.
Much needed.
And the application is what's
so much.
Yeah, the application is what's important. The application is what's important. Application.
So true.
All right. So as I usually do, as I usually close out,
Wait, Mother. I think someone's trying to say something. Sis, did you say something, sister?
Yes. Islam. Michelle Talbot.
Islam.
Michelle Talbot, baby.
Uh-oh.
Empress Michelle, there's some, you're fading in and out. We can't hear you, Empress.
All right.
That's better. That's better. Uh-huh.
Okay.
No, you're still underwater.
Yeah, you sound, it's very distorted.
Maybe is it something short enough that you can put it in the chat and then Light can read it to Mother Delilah? Is it something that's easy to put in the chat?
Yes, I will.
There's a lot of distortion.
Islam, we hear you clear now.
Yeah, it sounded clear just when you said Islam, it sounded really clear.
It's going back and forth. Maybe she can put it in the chat.
Okay. Yeah, Islam, I have a couple questions.
Islam.
Yeah, on question 55 in the questionnaire,
says,
what is the name of the first physical man?
So you're asking that question?
Yes, what is the name of the first physical man?
I'm going to say Noah Ali, who brought us the physical portion of what we were back to us.
And then on question 57, says who were Adam and Eve? They are the mothers and fathers of the human family, Asiatic and Muslim. So according to your understanding, why did the prophet break it down like that, Asiatics and Muslims?
Because there's only one race, all right? There's only one. It's the human race. But the Asiatics were the first, to realize that, we were amongst the great I am. The Asiatics means Asia means coming from the east, coming from within. And so the mothers and fathers of the civilization has to do with when we break down the chemical, the alchemy of mothers and fathers, all right? We have to break down the alchemy. So My understanding is Adam is atom, A-T-O-M, and Eve is evolution. So mothers and fathers, you know, they're the mothers of evolution and atoms. You know, the atom goes into an evolution, you know, it comes back again, comes around again, you know, to evolve, you know, to a higher being. That's my understanding. Now, like I say, I'm looking for scholars. I would like you to investigate a little bit more. Can you go deeper?
Exactly.
You know?
That's what I'm saying. Next week, if we can come back with some answers, if we all go away with these questions, and then do some digging and then return so we can gather. And that's what I always like to express, is that word together means to gather. So we're coming together to gather. And so this is a grand opportunity to do that. So we come back next week. You can go now. When we part, you can go and do some research, look into some things based on your questions and all the gems that have been shared on this call, and then gather some things and come back, and then we all bring and we gather it, and it's like it's like our harvest. We're harvesting, and then we share. And everybody gets fed off of this. We feed our whole families. We feed our nations, because we're learning and digging and gathering together. So these are wonderful questions. But yes, and Mother Delilah has always said, please be scholars, not followers. And then I just want to add with you that question with the Asiatics piece, just, not to go too deep into it, but Asia is what the entire Pangea was. Its whole, earth was Asia. So that's why the Moorish American movement is, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, this is about the uniting of Asia. So we hear about Asia Minor, and everybody thinks about East, but there's Asia Major, and that's where we are, the West. So we're uniting Asia. So Asiatics are all of the original peoples wherever there have ever been people, and those are melanated people. So Asiatics, but not all Asiatics have practiced Islam, so they were not Muslims. So that's where the breakdown of the difference between Asiatics and Muslims, if I gave any assistance there. So Islam, I yield.
Islam. And also with regard to what Empress Bloom was saying about digging further next week, for those who may want a starting point for your digging, the math of the questions is important. In other words, for example, question 55, we know that that's 10. Start looking and seeing there are a lot of, each one of the letters in the Hebrew alphabet has a value. You can start looking there to find other meanings and correlations and togetherness there. You can also look in the Circle 7 at some of the scriptures that correlate with those numbers as well, or you can look in the Biblioteleotech at some of the correlating scriptures to those questions. So question 79, look and see chapter 7 verse 9 and pick one and see what it says and find correlations, because there is nothing that is disconnected from from mother.
It's endless. And let me say this to add on to what she just said, the mother piece, because think about just in our common language, like we're so connected, it's so a part of our DNA. It's things that we say every day, just rolls out of us that we're not even conscious of. When you hear brothers, when you hear sons, and they be talking about, oh man, yeah, she a perfect 10. So that 10, 5 plus 5 is 10. What is the name of the first physical man? So that's that 10, that perfect 10. So think about all of those things, pull in all of those things, because we're talking about mother, returning to mother. And we know that woman is the first man. We are the first man. Man is not about a genitalia. Yes. We think that man is the one with the penis, with the lingam, and that's not, but we both have that. Yours is external, mine is internal. So, but we are the first man, the womb man. So think about that. Who's the perfect 10? Islam, right here.
Islam and also X-Men. That movie X-Men.
Yes,
X is the chromosome type.
Yes.
For the woman.
And then remember, replace the word man with mind. Who was the first physical mind? You know, because you got to replace these words, you know, because they have more than one meaning. Because that's the science of being. You know, and you think it's one thing, but it be into something else. It's being something else.
Exactly. And the mind is the womb, and that's the womb, man. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was specifically saying that womb, because the mind is the womb, and that's where we give birth to everything. Because that's the birth of all that we create is our thoughts. It's in the womb of the mind.
Yes.
Islam. I also wanted to. Empress Michelle said if we could close with 70, with question 70 in the 101s, the 7 significance again. And then also I wanted to mention quickly, Justice Welton has a court action today at 3:30, I believe it is. And he put that information in the chat. It's the same court action information. It's at 3:30 Central Standard Time.
All right, so that's 4 here.
Yes, it'll be 4:30 Eastern and 1:30 our Pacific, and the call-in is 425-436-6200. The access is 189766, and the online ID is Wilton Turk 601, which is WILTONTURK 601, and that's at freeconferencecall.com. I wanted to get those two in. Islam. I yield.
Islam. All right, so she said 70. It says 70.
Yes.
What is the higher self? The higher self is the mother of the virtues and the harmonies of life, and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. So what is the higher self? You know, we always got to, like Bloom corrected me and saying, you know, don't let the shadow catch you down, you know, don't let the shadow catching me down, you know. I'm looking for the shadow, and the shadow ain't really there because, you know, I'm under high noon right now. And so there's no shadow. So what is the higher self? The mother of the virtues. What is virtues? What are virtues? You know? It's the moral excellence that we must always be striving for. It says, establish unto thyself principles of action and see that you ever act according to them. So, yes, there's principles of action. What are the principles of action? Justice, mercy, love, and right. And I trust that satisfied sister. Did it satisfy her? Because she did. You know,
Islam, thank you so much. Yes, yes, Islam. Thank you.
All right. So,
gratitude.
Islam, thank you. So, at this point, you know, like I said, it's a little, Woo. It's 222 here. 222. What a number. 222. Hey. All right, so Islam. So I close with, you know, how I usually close, but I'm going to say it a little bit differently because I'm understanding a little bit more. I am loving you. I am loving you. I am loving all the Moors that are on the phone. I am loving us. I am loving. So I love all of y'all. I love you. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Islam, I love you. I love you. Love you.
I love you, Morris.
Love you more.
Grand rising.
Love you more.
Grand rising.
Love you more.
Gratitude to everyone. Gratitude.
Grand rising.
Grand rising.
Grand rising.
Islam.